Hello, I am Dr. Nisha Tiwari, Assistant Professor Chemistry, working in Government Bilasa Girls PG College, Bilaspur. Today, I present lecture on macromolecules for MSc second semester students, paper 3, Physical Chemistry. Topic is molecular weights and its determination for macromolecules. As we know that macromolecules are big size molecules having high molecular weight and known as polymers. Molar mass of polymer are depends upon the number of simple molecules joined together in polymerization. Number of molecules in polymer are joined in two ways, so molecular weights of macromolecules are determined by two types. Number one is bar Mn, means number average molecular weight. In this, N1 M1 plus N2 M2 plus N3 M3 and so on are divided by N1 plus N2 plus N3, means total number of molecules, shown by equation 1. Capital M are molecular weights of respective molecules. So, number average molecular weight equals to summation of Ni capital Mi upon summation of Ni, given by equation 2. If number of moles are converted into number of molecules, then equation 2 becomes as bar Mn equals to summation of Ni Mi upon summation of Ni by equation 3. Since Na is Avogadro number equals to 6.023 to 10 to the power 23 and Ni equals to number of molecules having molecular weight Mi. Similarly, average molecular weight given by bar Mw equals to small m1 capital M1 plus M2 M2 plus so on upon M1 plus M2 plus N3 equals to summation of small mi upon summation of mi, given by equation 4. Here M1 M2 are weights of macromolecules and capital M are the molecular weights of respective molecules. If N1 N2 are the number of molecules having molar mass M1 M2, then M1 equals to N1 M1 and M2 equals to small n2 M2. Equation 4 becomes to equation 5. Bar Mw equals to summation of Ni Mi square upon summation of Ni Mi. Thus we see that by equation 3 and 5, Mn and Mw are different. We see that Mw is always greater than Mn, means weight average molecular weight is greater than generally number average molecular weight. If both are equals, then molecules are similar. For any polymer sample, if we suppose any polymer sample, number average molecular weight is 51,000, weight average molecular weight is 59,019, then we find that if 10 molecules of 10,000 weight, 80 molecules of 50,000 weight and 10 molecules of 10 lakhs molecules are taken, then bar Mn equals to 51,000 and for same compound bar Mw equals to 59,019. We conclude that Mw is greater than Mn by 16%. How we find? We divide Mw upon Mn, we get 0.16, then we multiply by 100, we get 16%. We conclude that polymer is in heterogeneous phase and polymer is bigger in size than monomer. If Mw comes equals to Mn, then polymer is in homogeneous phase and equal in size. After that, we start the determination of molecular weight of macromolecules by different methods. First one is osmotic pressure method. This method is involved in if lipophilic colloids are present in polymer. Molecular weights are very high, then elevation in boiling point and depression in freezing points are too small in comparison to molecular weight. Therefore, osmotic pressure of solution is only measured with accuracy for determination of molecular weight of macromolecules. So, we construct the cellophane membrane for determination. Want of equation for dilute solution is taken by which pi equals to nRT upon V. If we replace n, then equals to CRT upon M given by equation 1. Equation 1 holds for 1% solution, means for very dilute solution. Fails in case of polymers because effective concentration of solution is much increased. So variations are observed. Then we construct osmotic pressure method by arranging this experiment. In this, graduated capillary is above site, solvent is taken in this trough, polymeric solution inside the tube, and cellophane membrane is set up here by which polymer solution and solvents are separated. When osmosis process starts, then we measure osmotic pressure after some time, and pi upon C is plotted against concentration, and we find a curve with intercept RT upon M, and thus we easily find out the molecular weight of the macromolecules easily. In second method, viscosity method, in this method mostly viscosity measurement is difficult, so relative viscosity is measured. Exact absolute viscosity measurement is different, so eta R, relative viscosity of polymeric solution, is given by eta upon eta 0, means viscosity of polymer solution upon viscosity of pure solvent in which solution is prepared, and specific viscosity eta Sp equals to eta minus eta 0 upon eta 0 equals to eta upon eta 0 minus 1 or eta R minus 1 by equation 2. Eta upon eta 0 equals to relative viscosity. So relative viscosity or reduced viscosity is measured by eta specific upon C, which is depends upon the molecular weight of polymers, and intrinsic viscosity is given by equation 3 of polymer solution. Thus by mark how in equation number 4 we find the intrinsic viscosity equals to Km to the power A, where M is molecular weight. We plot intrinsic viscosity versus log M and found curve intercept equals to log K, and in second one intercept equals to intrinsic viscosity. After that, if any problem is given in which we see that a proton sample consists of an equimolar solution of 15.5 kilogram per mole and ribonuclease 13.7 kilogram per mole, and second one of 17.2 kilogram per mole, then calculate the number average and average mass and give the clue. We calculate similarly and found that MW is greater than Mn. Then finally we said that heterogeneous phase polymer is formed, because if phase is homogeneous, then MW comes out to be equals to Mn. In third process, sedimentation method, this method is known as ultracentrifuge techniques given by T. Swedberg in 1923. He determined molecular weight of high polymer by this method. In this method, rate of sedimentation of suspended particles increases by applying ultracentrifuges technique by two methods. First one is sedimentation equilibrium method. So in sedimentation equilibrium method, solution of column related in ultracentrifuge equation reached at colloidal particles settle down equals to rate of diffusion due to thermal motion and Brownian moment. Means we centrifuge up to centrifugation of particles and find out that at last CdX equals to R at equilibrium, dW equals to CdX given by equation 1 and dW equals to minus d dC by dx into dt. At equilibrium both are equal by equation 1 and 2. Therefore, CdX equals to dC upon dx into dt. If we found dC by dC, then equation 3 comes out and we know that the capital D equals to RT upon 6 pi eta R into N. D is diffusion coefficient with respect to material transferred or weight transferred material. This is D. And dx by dt equals to 2r square w square d minus d dash upon 9. If we put 4 and 5 in 3, then we get equation 6. But volume of particle is given by 4 by 3 pi r is cube, and if m is molecular weight, d is density of particle, then from 6 and 7 we get equation 8. Second method is sedimentation velocity method. In this method, quicker method is obtained. This is completed in few hours. Same process involved as in previous step, and we found that as rapid rotation of polymer solution, a moving particle is formed between solution and solvent. After that, only solvent is present and nothing is appears. Beam of light passed through the solution, recorded photographic plate at various time intervals, then radius of particle is calculated by equation 1. x1 and x2 equals to distance of bombarding from rotation, and eta is coefficient of viscosity of medium, r is radius of particles, then particle undergoing sedimentation subjected to gravitational force, F equals to mass of particle minus buoyancy, equation number 2. G is gravitational force due to gravity, and buoyancy equal to volume of particle into density of liquid medium. So for a spherical particle, F equals to 4 by 3 pi r cube d minus 4 by 3 pi r cube d dash, change in density into gravitational force. So F is find out by equation 3, where d is density of particle and d dash is density of liquid medium. Particle of radius r undergoing sedimentation in opposed frictional resistance, r equals to velocity. So equation is, when we put 5 in 4, then r comes out from equation 6. At equilibrium, two opposing forces F and R are found by equation 7. Then light scattering method. Is given by when suspension of polymer and scattering of light due to change in density of solution due to thermal motion of solvent, then intensity of light is scattered as given by equation 1, I equals to I0 e to the power minus TL, where I equals to intensity of incident light and I0 equals to intensity of incident light and I equals to intensity of incident light after passing through 1 centimeter solution, and L is path length. Turbidity T of solution is related to molecular weight of macromolecules by equation 2, Hc upon T equals to 1 upon capital M. H is constant for polymer and dispersion medium, depends on variation of refractive index. C equals to concentration of substance in gram per mole, and capital H equals to 32 pi cube eta square dn upon dc whole square upon 3n lambda to the power 4, equation 3, where eta 0 equals to refractive index of solvent, n0, sorry, not eta 0, n equals to refractive index of solution and capital N is Avogadro number. Then dn upon dc equals to variation of refractive index of solution, lambda equals to wavelength of light used in vacuum. When we plotted graph of epsilon and c, then we get curve like this with intercept 1 upon m. Advantage of this process is the equation 2 gives turbidity increases at concentration with increasing molecular weight. Accurate in high polymer, weight of polymer is greater than 10 lakhs. Method becomes inaccurate. Measurement of scattered light is measured by this apparatus as shown. In this monochromator converts light and by natural filter and sample activated by falling light, and substance become active in presence of light by photomultiplier tube and find out the concentration easily.